Hey, how's it going, guys? I know it's been a minute since I uploaded a video, but today I'm going to be changing out a water pump, serpentine belt, and battery on this 2011 Toyota Camry LE 2.5, I believe. But the water pump is located right under the alternator. You can see down there. And as you can tell, this one's actually been leaking, so that's the reason why we're changing it. Very easy, a lot easier than a Honda or some other vehicles. All I have to do is move this alternator out of the way. I'll just throw it over here, and I'll go ahead and disconnect the water pump. We did go ahead and get a Duralast water pump, serpentine belt, and battery, but it should work just fine. The good thing about this, compared to other ones that I've seen online at least, it actually has the pulley with it. And I know some earlier models did not, as you can tell in there. I don't know what you guys can see in there, but it actually has the pulley and a gasket. But go ahead and start tearing into it. First, I'll drain the coolant and disconnect the battery. I'll go ahead and start disassembling everything here. Alright guys, so this is what I've done so far. Obviously I pulled the battery out. I went ahead and I moved the alternator out of the way. I had to disconnect the connector for the AC compressor. And it does have these clips here, here, and up here. This one you're able to get to and just pinch it to push it out of the way. These two are a little bit harder to get to, so I just pulled a 10mm bolt out of here. And to pull the alternator, there's a 14mm bolt here, and there's one right down here. You can obviously tell where this has been leaking. It looks like it's been leaking right here, and this right here is actually penetrating oil because this bolt was a little tough to get to. The water pump itself, the bearing's a little rough. You can see it kind of skipping as I move it. I also forgot to mention I did pull off the serpentine belts. There's a tensioner right here, 14mm, for the belt that is attached to the water pump. If you're not going to replace your serpentine belts, you just have to move it out of the way. But we're going to be replacing one of them on this vehicle, so there is another tensioner right there. I think I'm pointing to the correct spot. Another 14, push down on it, and you're able to release the other serpentine belt that is blocking the one that turns the water pump. So you can pull both of them out until I have both of them right here. So very simple. I think this is one of the easiest water pumps I've had to do in a while. So I'll update you guys once I get to the next step. So I went ahead and I pulled all the bolts off for the water pump. The two bottom ones are a little bit difficult to get to, but it's not too bad. There are 7 bolts altogether, all 12mm. I also went ahead and I moved the tensioner out of the way just to make it a little bit easier for it to access, get the wrench in there and be able to turn it. And I'm going to go ahead and pull this off. Make sure you have something to catch whatever coolant is going to come out of here. I currently have a drip pan down there, so it should hopefully catch all this. And there it goes. And I should be able to just pick it right up and pull it out just like that. Sorry, I have a mess. Here's the tensioner I was talking about, pulled out. Yeah, here it is. And here's the old water pump with the new one. As I mentioned earlier when I was looking at it, this bearing felt kind of weird, and it definitely does. It's kind of skipping a little bit, if that makes any sense. While this one, the new one's very smooth, which is really good. You can tell where it was kind of leaking from. Let me see, it's like this on the vehicle. So it was leaking from right here. If we look at the gasket, I mean, I don't know what we'll be able to tell, but it looks like it could have been leaking from here and also down here and around this bolt. So the new one does come with the gasket. It's not a name brand like this one. This one's an Aisin. but it is a Duralast with a lifetime warranty. So if this person ever has an issue with it again, we go ahead and replace it. So the water pump is on. I went ahead and filled this up just to make sure there's no leaks. Spun it by hand, just make sure everything's good. I went ahead and these are supposed to be torqued to 15 foot-pounds. It's up to you. You can use your German torque specs, or go ahead and get a torque wrench in here. It'll be a little bit difficult, at least for the two bottom bolts, to be able to torque them down, but it is possible. I'm going to go ahead and install the alternator back in here, put the battery in, run it up, make sure everything's good, and then the person that owns this vehicle asked me if I can also do a tire rotation, so I'll go ahead and take care of that while I'm at it as well. And just like that, it's all done. I did have a hard time putting this top bolt on, but I think it's because I had already started the bottom one, so I undid that and just tried to put the top one on first, and it went on pretty easy. The only thing I have left to do is just make sure it's not leaking, which I'm pretty sure it's not, but I'll hose off whatever residual stuff is in the engine bay from when I pulled the old one out, and go from there. To check it, I'm just going to run it up to temp. I'm going to make sure, I'm going to leave this cap off just to make sure all the air bubbles escape. Once I'm pretty sure that the thermostat opened and water's flowing through here pretty good, I'll make sure I top it off and put the cap back on, and should be good to go. Thanks for watching.